The name of this street? Befi?
Yeah.
And the market?
That place is Mauritel.
Mauritel.
Like the SIM card, Mauritel.
We often think of the Sahara Desert as an empty, lifeless place, but in reality, it is home to a rapidly growing population and many fascinating cities. Nouakchott, Mauritania is the largest one, with 1.5 million inhabitants. This desert metropolis started its life as a Berber fishing village before it was selected as the site of Mauritania's capital after independence from France. The location, here in the southeast of the country, was chosen to symbolize national unity between the nation's diverse ethnic groups and avoid openly favoring the Moors who dominate the north and west. Maybe we switch to the side? Over the last few decades, Nouakchott's population has boomed as nomads from the surrounding areas settle here to escape desertification and climate change. The Sahara has never stopped expanding. Although Mauritania was supposedly colonized by France, Europeans have had relatively little impact on its culture. Traditional clothing is widely considered superior to modern alternatives. The men wear a flowing robe, typically in blue or white, called the dara, which is a status symbol in society. And while there aren't that many women in the streets right now, they also favor a traditional clothing style called the malefa. This is the Saudi Mosque or Nouakchott Grand Mosque, built with the help of the Saudi Arabian government in the 1980s. Here, just like elsewhere in Africa and the Middle East, the Saudis are interested in spreading their conservative interpretations of Islam, known as Salafism and Wahhabism, through education and public works. But Mauritania itself also plays an important role in the Islamic world because of its famous poets and scholars. The country is home to some of the oldest Islamic texts in the world, particularly in the ancient city of Chinguetti, and religious students come from many different countries to study at its madrasas.
Like a black market cell phone.
Oh, this is the market for phones?
Yeah, it's like the black market, like exchange. So, for example, like second-hand cell phone.
Okay.
For example, if my cell phone is broken, I can just come exchange it and maybe add a little money to have a new one.
Okay.
Or second-hand again, but yeah, it's just a business market.
Yeah, cell phone business, yeah.
Place is called Mauritel. We can go inside? Or
Okay, yeah. It is popular to divide people into groups of indigenous and not indigenous to a particular area. But this is a very incomplete way of looking at history. Humans don't emerge from the soil like plants, and none of the world's current populations were the first people in the regions they currently inhabit. Mauritania is an excellent example of this concept.
Ça va? Ça va bien. Ton pays est magnifique.
The first recorded ethnicity in this part of the Sahara was a group of people known as the Bafour, hunter-gatherers who are the ancestors of modern Mande groups like the Soninke or Mandinka people. They created the ancient Ghana Empire believed to have begun around the 6th century. By the 7th century, Amazirs, who were also known as Berbers, began migrating here in huge numbers, fleeing the Arab conquest of their homeland in North Africa. Their nomadic lifestyle gave them military advantages over the local farmers, allowing them to enslave many of the people they encountered in the region, creating a new ethnicity called Haratin or Black Moors. While Arabs have had a long presence here, their dominance was cemented in the 17th century when Bedouin Hassaniya speakers of Yemeni origin decisively defeated the Amazigh Berbers and established themselves as the ruling class of this region. To this day, Hassaniya Arabic is the dominant language in Mauritania, with Amazigh languages like Zenaga pushed to the fringes of society and almost extinct. This blending of Arabs and Berbers created a new culture called the Bidan, which can be translated to mean white Moors. Together, black and white Moors represent around 70% of Mauritania's population.
Salam. Which way?
Slowly, we make our way through the maze-like market, looking for the exit. Excusez-moi.
So here's the market. We're gonna go to the Carrefour BNB.
Oh, wow.
The tall building in the distance is the headquarters of Société Nationale Industrielle et Minière,
So this
or
is like the
SNIM,
main street.
Mauritania's state-owned mining company, which specializes in the extraction and processing of iron ore. SNIM handles most of the production. It ships millions of tons of ore each year through the famous Mauritania Railway, and it takes the ore all the way to the Atlantic port of Nouakchott before it is sent to clients mainly in Europe and Asia to produce steel. Iron ore represents around 33% of Mauritania's exports and 14% of its government revenue, making this a hugely important part of the economy. Usually, I hate to discuss natural resources in Africa because they have turned into a brain-melting obsession that distracts Africans from real sources of wealth like manufacturing, agriculture, and technology. However, due to Mauritania's low population and location in the middle of the Sahara Desert, natural resources may be the key to its economic success. Farming isn't ideal in a place like this.
Which way?
Taal sama cameraman. Maybe you can film me buying Tandrama.
What's tandrama?
That's
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Tandrama Khali. Tandrama Khali.
My guide stopped to try some dates, which are a special food in many Islamic cultures. Mauritania produces vast numbers of them, and they are usually consumed fresh, but also processed into jams and syrups. D'accord, on y va? On y va?
Yeah. At Ramadan, usually the Muslims, when they fast, they break their fast with this.
Oh, dates.
Yes, yeah. It's very suggested by the Prophet Muhammad to break our fast using dates. So that we can take a taxi to go to cleaning, another place.
Okay.
So here's the Carrefour BNB.
Oh, this is it?
Yeah, this is the
Okay,
Carrefour.
let's walk. Let's see it.
Now walk a little bit and then take a taxi to go to
Yeah.
cleaning. I don't know, but I think Mercedes sponsored Mauritania.
Huh?
I think Mercedes sponsored Mauritania.
Yeah, the
There's a
old
lot.
ones, yeah. The
Like old
E300, yeah. Here's another one. I like those cars. They're very reliable.
Yeah, they're very reliable. As you can see, they're very old.
Yeah. New Mercedes are junk though. The new ones.
Maybe the bread.
While Mauritania has long had a distant trade relationship with Europe, large-scale contact began in the 15th century. In fact, this country is arguably where the transatlantic slave trade began. In 1444, the Portuguese launched a massive slave raid in northern Mauritania's Bay of Argan, near the present-day city of Nouadhibou. The 300 kidnapped people were described as both black and white Moors, and they were brought to Portugal to be sold at the famous Mercado de Escravos in Lagos, which still stands to this day. The Portuguese later built a fortress in Argan, and hundreds of people were captured here to be sold in Europe each year until the practice of trafficking enslaved people into Portugal was banned in 1761. It would continue in New World colonies like Brazil and other parts of the Americas. You have network?
That one, yes.
Okay, can you text me the name of this place? Carrefour BNB?
BNB.
BNB.
I will take you also the places.
Portuguese slavers terrorized the Mauritanian coast for decades, but eventually villagers abandoned their coastal settlements and moved deeper into the interior, causing the Portuguese to venture further south to the densely populated coasts of Senegal. In 1904, Mauritania was established as a so-called colony of France as part of a larger entity called French West Africa, headquartered and administered from Saint-Louis, Senegal, and later Dakar. Like the topic of natural resources discussed earlier, colonialism has become an unfortunate obsession for many Africans, given far more importance than it actually deserves. Mauritania is an excellent example of this concept. While France was the military hegemon in this area now known as Mauritania, to say France controlled it feels like a stretch, and to call it a colony is downright laughable. During the 6 decades of so-called French colonialism in Mauritania, the vast majority of people continued living as nomads, with little contact or knowledge about their supposed European overlords. Military pacification of the northern tribes was only accomplished in 1934, and the country became independent 26 years later. The often cited Scramble for Africa map only represents territorial claims meant to exclude other European powers. It doesn't reflect the territory that these governments actually controlled in real life.
Yeah. Do they also use charcoal?
What? Charcoal?
Yeah. For cleaning?
Sometimes.
While Mauritania is nominally francophone, the French language is on the decline here, just like in other North African countries. The government removed French from its list of official languages in 1991, and throughout my trip here, I was stunned by people's English language skills.
Oh my
Okay.
God, you speak good English.
You speak very good English.
How do you know?
Are you American yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Not at all.
I think you are.
Hey man, how do you open that camera?
No.
How you open it?
Yes.
What are you doing? I thought you were someone from those journalists trying to publish a thing. I want you to take my own and publish it. If I got customer, I will give you a gift, man.
Okay, why not?
Now, are you ready? So where are you going to drop it on?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the interview will be like?
Huh? The interview with you? Very good.
About what?
Oh, I'm just showing people Mauritania because many people have never visited here, so I want to show them what it's like, how friendly the people are, how beautiful the country is. Yeah.
Well, I think this is people will know about Mauritania through the YouTube.
Yeah.
If they Google about it, they will find about it.
Yeah.
But I want to know your original from where?
From America.
From which part in America?
Georgia.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Do you know, no, Georgia is not close to Hudson River.
Hudson River. What state?
Hudson River, I think that's in New York.
Oh, yeah, Hudson River.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very far.
So I think...
My brother lives in that area.
Do you speak any other languages, not English?
Je parle un peu de français, mais c'est tout.
Is that guy your nigga who helping you to
Don't call me nigga, man. I'm Senegalese, original, bro.
Senegalese?
Yeah, sure. Coming from Dakar.
Sure.
I'm sure, yes.
No, this guy was born, I think he was born in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I was born from Richardson.
He said so.
Yeah, in the north of
Where is
Senegal.
that?
the north of Senegal, the region of Saint Louis.
Oh, so I think we need to have an interview with this gentleman right here.
Definitely yes.
As he said, he's gonna drop my own in YouTube.
Yeah.
When he drop it, do you think I'm gonna be bombing up marketing?
What do you think?
Saying like, for example, if you put it in YouTube, it's going to be like
Yeah,
viral.
tell the people where your shop is.
Really,
The location.
really.
Yeah, pourquoi pas?
And your line in YouTube is familiar. Everybody know about you.
Yeah.
It's okay, no problem. I think you can open the camera. Or it been open at first. Your camera been working?
Yes.
This guy is tricky guy,
Yes.
man.
Nice to meet you. Though.
Nice to meet you too. What's
Thank
your
you.
name?
Willie.
Willie.
Yeah.
My name is Zubair Gay, and my location, Willie knows about it.
Okay.
If you touch him and touch, he may show you where I am at. And I am here, and I got some very good quality, mostly come from the state of America. And when you come here, you would be happy to get it and use it at the same time. Okay, but your camera have no light, man.
Yeah, it doesn't need a light.
Take picture from American movement right here. Well, in one time we'll go back to this.
5 days.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just spend 1 week here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Don't really. See you
Yeah.
later.
Bye. That's fantastic. People are gonna love that. His I can tell he watches a lot of American movies because he has the pronunciation really good.
Very good. I was surprised.
My guides want to show me a local market called Clinque Market or Fifth Market, so we find an auto rickshaw to take us deeper into the city. There is supposed to be strict gender separation in taxis and other public transport in Mauritania, but the rules are loosely followed. Clinque Market is a typical bustling African market where you can find traditional clothing, food, and the usual trinkets. Most of the vendors and clients are from various Black African ethnic groups such as the Wolof, Fulani, Soninke, and Bambara, who together make up around 30% of the Mauritanian population, although this is likely higher here in Nouakchott and in the southern parts of the country which borders Senegal and Mali. These groups, often known collectively as Afro-Mauritanians, are distinct from the Haritin or Black Moors, who are also darker skinned but speak the Hassaniya language and share the same Bidani culture with their white Moorish counterparts.
So, centième. Marché centième?
Cinquième.
Cinquième. Marché.
So this part is Gambian market.
Gambian market. So does that mean that people selling stuff are Gambian? Excusez-moi.
Most of the products come from Ghana. It's not really that big.
So the products come from Gambia.
Like the fabric, like different products from Gambia.
While the Haritin represent the bottom rung of Mauritania's Moorish caste system, the Afro-Mauritanians fall totally outside it. Many Moorish elites don't even consider them to be real Mauritanians, instead claiming they're immigrants brought into the area by the French. Afro-Mauritanians will often counter these claims by saying they are the indigenous people who have always lived here, or who returned from neighboring countries after they fled Berber slave raiding, which continued well into the 20th century. This tension came to a head in the late 1980s when a border dispute led the Mauritanian government to deport thousands of Wolof and Fulani migrants to Senegal, including many who were actually Black Mauritanian citizens. Senegal responded by deporting Mauritanians from its country as well, and in total over 250,000 people were affected.
What's the word for donkey in French?
An.
Oh, like ass. Okay.
An.
Relations between the two countries have since improved, but in recent times friction is restarting because of the rising levels of migrants from all over West Africa who come to Mauritania with the hope of illegally migrating to Europe via the Spanish Canary Islands.
Semble renseigner critique quotidienne avant de souligner mandaté par son collègue Farbangon pour l'assister devant la commission.
Are these most of these people Wolof or more fish?
Well, I think it's a market.
Everybody?
Make sure, yeah.
But when you hear the language.
Yeah, people are speaking Wolof, Tukula, and Hassaniya.
Okay. Most Mauritanians will understand all three?
No, not really Wolof.
Okay.
Mostly, maybe Tukula.
Okay.
Hein? Crédit, ouais. Ah bon, je pense qu'il y en a crédit. Mon téléphone bi mi commencé jaay après léegi quoi.
For our final walk, we will explore the beach of Nouakchott. This is where most of the fish supplied to the city is caught and processed. I hire a horse to move faster.
Salut, monsieur. Combien pour le cheval?
Le cheval, 500.
500.
Tu veux aller monter?
Hein? Yeah, je veux 500. 500. D'accord. Je veux
Et tu me ici.
là-bas.
Et au total,
Yeah, je vais là-bas et reviens. Can you hold this? Or-
وين ديارك تمشي معاه؟
Si. C'est bon.
The relative lack of European influence in Mauritania has preserved its unique Amazigh and traditional Bedouin culture. For better or worse, the country has been spared from becoming part of the blob of westernized monoculturalism that has taken over so much of the world. When you travel here, you feel like you are going back to a simpler time in history. There are no bars or nightclubs, alcohol is prohibited, and people prefer tea over soda and camel meat over beef. But the bad side is that certain archaic practices, such as slavery, have persisted here longer than in other parts of the world. According to CNN, Mauritania is slavery's last stronghold, with an estimated 10 to 20% of the population currently under some form of bondage, with the Bidan or white Moors allegedly owning the Haritin or black Moors. Throughout my travels here, I did see some evidence of this, which I will discuss in future videos. But on the whole, I don't think the situation is as bad as the way it is presented in the media. First and foremost, I believe the Western sources place too much emphasis on skin color, when in reality, the relationship between so-called masters and slaves may be more complex. The so-called white Moors have substantial African ancestry, while some, but definitely not all, of the so-called black Moors have significant Amazigh ancestry. The result is that many of the Bidan and Haritin can look quite similar to each other, with many being genetically related. And surprisingly, most of the actual Haritin people I have spoken to claim the narrative of slavery in Mauritania is totally exaggerated. They often say that they get along well with the white Mauritanians, and what is often categorized by Westerners as slavery is actually just domestic maid work, as is done under similar conditions everywhere in Africa and even within their own communities.
D'accord, c'est bon.
Non-Haritin black groups such as the Wolof and Fulani tend to be more vocal about discrimination. Still, while they accuse the Haritin of suffering from mental slavery, they also claim that no forced bondage exists in the country.
Okay, we're a little bit closer to where the fuck! Fuck! My socks got wet. I gotta spend the rest of the day with wet socks.
On the horizon, you can see the great canoes used by the fishermen here, who were mainly Wolof and Fulani immigrants from Senegal. These canoes, which the Portuguese called Almadia, the origin of Les Almadies in Dakar, also served a military purpose. When the Portuguese attempted slave raids in Senegal, they were attacked by huge numbers of them, the warriors firing poisoned arrows and moving too fast to be accurately targeted with cannons. But now, instead of defending against European traffickers, these fishing canoes help the Senegalese traffic themselves into Europe. Africa's old slave routes have transformed into modern hotspots for illegal migration. Here in Mauritania, the Bay of Arguin, now known as Nouadhibou, where the Portuguese launched their first slave raid into Black Africa, is now the preferred launching pad for African migrants on their way to Iberia. Edo State in Nigeria, the site of the old Benin slave trading empire, now accounts for a jaw-dropping 80% of the women trafficked from West Africa to Europe for sex work. Oromo and Habesha Ethiopians, who were once sold to Arabs as house slaves, now voluntarily migrate to the Middle East to work as maids in countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Lebanon. Mauritania, and perhaps Africa as a whole, highlight the uncomfortable continuity between the past and present. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Je ne sais pas. Mais c'est la place. Cette chance. Les policiers sont partout. Je ne sais pas, je ne comprends pas. Bienvenue à Mauritanie. Merci. Excusez-moi, excusez-moi. D'accord, d'accord. Je ne filme pas.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.